What is up, watch friends? Welcome to another episode of Talking Timepieces with Tony. I'm Tony, and today we are going to be doing a review of the Nomos Tangente limited edition colored dials. Beautiful watch. So let's roll the intro and we'll get into it.
Talking timepieces with Tony. Talking timepieces with Tony.
All right, cool. So as you have probably noticed, I did change the straps on these watches, which just makes them pop so much nicer. I mean, nothing wrong with the straps that Nomos come on, but a lot of times when I buy a watch, especially a strap watch, I'll look to see what kind of strap I could put on it afterwards, whatever. So, but let's just start with this Nomos. Um, they started in 1990, I believe, just after the collapse of the Berlin Wall, and watches basically like this, they don't have too much history or heritage at this point. They're a new brand, but they are a luxury brand, and just got to give it time. Only time turns brands into what they become, icons or whatever you want to call it. I'm not saying that they're an iconic brand, of course they're not, but so they initially started with using ETA movements, and then with the Swatch Group purchasing ETA, then basically ETA movements were, so Nomos decided to go all in-house, man. So they got all the machines, everything they need to make this watch in-house. And their first model was a Tangente. This is their sort of the watch that it all started, and it's obviously a Bauhaus design, and it's a beautiful watch, and it's very simple. Now, I've watched videos on this watch, but every YouTuber I've seen, oh, this is just a watch they sent me, but I have to send it back. It's not their own, it's not their watch to keep. So, these are my watches. I purchased these watches. So I do like them. I do love the colors. They came out with the 31 different colors, like 31 flavors we have here in the United States. Beer. And they're fun, but they're a serious watch. I love the fact that they're all, in-house, and with the Tangente, this is the 175 limited edition, meaning there's only 175 pieces of each one of these. So not very many, and they're all sold out online. So you have to really go to an authorized retailer. So, and I love the fact that they're celebrating 175 years of watchmaking in Glashütte, not just, how many years Nomos have been in business, And if you've ever seen Glashütte's this little tiny town, this little village, but they've got Audemars Piguet right across the street. You've got Nomos, you've got Moritz Grossman, you've got, a lot of watch manufacturers in that little town of Glashütte. And it's a beautiful town. I think the closest area for them is, as a big city, would be Dresden. But, so they started 175 years of watchmaking in Glashütte. Each one of these is numbered, and the movements are just beautiful. Now, the Tangente, the price on the Tangente, just the regular Tangente model, is $2,000, just a little over $2,000. And what they wanted to do with this special release is put a sapphire glass on the back and not charge any extra. Now Nomos charge for these things. I have my Club Campus here, and I wanted to put sapphire glass on the back, but they want like $350. Now, the cool thing is, like, when you take the Club Campus and you look at just the case back, underneath this case back is the Alpha movement, which is decorated just like this, the DUW4101. It's a manual wind movement, about a 42-hour power reserve. Now, There's a big problem with this watch. Okay, each watch also has a date aperture at the 6 o'clock. Now on this burnt orange one, I can't really see it, so it doesn't bother me. But on this yellow one, you can see it very clearly, right? And the problem is they don't have a quick set on it. Literally, no quick set. And you got to wind it to get to what the date is. Now that could turn people off from the watch altogether. And I didn't know that until I actually got the watch. Now there's a way to hack it where you can go to midnight, change the date, then roll back like 3 hours, and then go forward again and roll backwards like 3 hours. But I don't know about that. However, the watches are beautiful. They're fun. They're stunning. Now, the case comes in at 37.5 millimeters, but it wears larger than a 37.5 millimeter. And one of the reasons being is because you have so much dial and virtually no bezel. You've got a 47.5 or 47 millimeter lug to lug, but the lugs kind of curve down like that, so they don't look as long as on the Club Campus, for instance, right? And this is a 38.5 millimeter watch. However, the 37.5 actually looks bigger, but that's because there's more dial. This has a little bit more bezel. They're fun watches. Now, also the quality of them obviously are phenomenal, but I also do like a sapphire check. For instance, when I get the glass, I'll do that. I'll tap the sapphire, and I'll do it on the Club Campus. It's more muted. So I believe the Club Campus, in a sense, is I think it has a more robust watch than the Tangente. But you can wear this as an everyday watch. The funny thing is too, I bought the burnt orange one, was my first pick. I love it. And then I get it home, and it turns out I really love the yellow one. And they all have names, these Nomos. This one's called Pop Orange, and the yellow one is called Lemon Biscuit. But the way they decorate these movements, and I've talked about it before, is just stellar. It's like the back of the watch is more beautiful than the front of the watch. But so essentially, there's not a whole lot to talk about, other than they're fun, but they're a serious watch. They're a great watch, and if you can get one, I recommend that you do. I mean, I think it's great to have colored watches in your collection. That does look pretty good. I think it's great to have colored watches in your collection. Everything can't just be black and white, can it? But and again, they're not. You would have to go to the AD to get them. Unfortunately, I'm sure they'll be on eBay or something. 30 meters water resistance, so not much, but it's one of those things. I think the Club Campus has 100 meters water resistance. So out of the Tangente and the Club Campus, I prefer the Club Campus. However, this is a fun watch. This one's my favorite one. I didn't think it would be either. After trying them both, I was certain this was the first one. I after sorting through them, I picked this one. I was like, yeah, that's going to be the one. And then the second one that I picked was a little bit more tough. But it turns out that I definitely prefer the Lemon Biscuit. There's something about it. Definitely, I'd say. Oh, and the straps. I know people are going to ask. I have connections with straps and strap companies and whatever. I just ordered these from eBay from a company called Aperture, and they were like $16 each. They're not FKM rubber or anything. They're basically silicone, but they're a good brand. They're a good strap company, and they work, especially for something like this. So I guess that being said, that's all I got to say. And I appreciate you guys. You have a great one.